Hello everyone, I'm here with Dr. Sanil Parekh, gastroenterologist. So he knows exactly what happens when you eat that yummy food of yours that you're craving for. He will exactly tell you what not happens. But today we're not going to talk all that because that's what he does any which ways. The reason he's here today talking about how he is a sunshine angel to this beautiful world because of the way he is as a person. It's his innate niceness combined with his fun loving attitude that has brought me and forced him to come on this stage because I know how uncomfortable it is for him to do this. But I'm so grateful to you, Sanil, for doing this and being part of this sunshine life. Sanil, I want you to talk about your daily life and how you as a person thrive. How do you keep yourself motivated? How do you keep yourself happy?
So firstly, very, very nice and kind words. Like I said, I would do it again and again. But these are probably the toughest 15, 20 minutes. I'd rather open my book and read. But yeah, anyway, so this has been a very, very long ride. It's been about 15 to 17 years just in the same field. So you have to find a self to keep yourself motivated, to keep going, and to have a life. It's very easy for a doctor to not have a life. So basically, what I typically do is the most important thing is disconnect. When I'm out of my studies or my hospital, it's out. There is no relation. And probably that's the time I'm probably just playing an outdoor sport, indulging in FIFA. I'm a big fan, PlayStation, just anything. There's nothing about age in that. It's just what makes me feel better and what makes me like just relax and rejuvenate rather. Because it can get very taxing throughout the day. It is little stressful, but then I think that becomes a part of your life and you start to not bother about it again. So I get up, I have my usual schedule in the evening. I back it up with some sort of recreation. These is not much because of the lockdowns, probably just Netflix and chill when that works. Earlier didn't. I was hardcore into sports, but I think I've become used to that as well now. But my childhood primarily was all about sports.
Yeah.
I made sure I never gave up on anything just to become a doctor. I made sure I did everything, so I have no regret later in life.
Yeah. And how do you keep this childlike attitude, this beautiful wonder in your life? Because I know that
I hope it is.
that is the reason you're on.
I would like to believe it is, but I think anything more than that is boring because it's so easy for us to become boring. So I make sure I'm anti what other doctors are. Otherwise, why would I stand out?
How do you
I'm just.
How do you do that?
So nothing. I think just taking it easy. Like not taking anything way too seriously. Whether it's my patients, whether it's my work. I know it sounds bad if a doctor says that he doesn't take his patients very seriously, but if I start doing it, it one day will take a toll on me. So I think that's very, very important to just switch off at times. Wow. And life isn't bad, yeah. Life is good. What's wrong with life?
Yeah,
people have a worse life.
And I think
it's the way you see it, right? It's the way you see it. Anything.
That's exactly where I want to ask you, like, how do you see life as such a beautiful thing, right? Today, so if you could share some influences, it could be probably a book, a person, a situation in your life that makes you see this beautiful silver lining in everything. Like it's beautiful.
Firstly, I've never read any other book.
Life is beautiful. So now you know why you're on Sunshine Life.
I put my foot in the mouth there. I have never read any book to begin with because my books are more than enough. So I have no time to read any other book and I'm really not interested, to be honest. I think the influences have not been a particular person. It begins with my parents, to be honest. My dad and mom, they've been a huge, huge influence. And then as you see people around, I mean, the more and more you see, especially with our book, I've seen all strata of society, a lot of suffering, the rich, the poor. You just begin to feel that wherever you are, there are people there who are suffering way more than you are. At any stage in life, you're definitely more privileged than a lot more than the others. It's not just me, it's for anyone. I mean, I think there's a lot of suffering outside, so you should just be thankful every day. And then if you lose that child in you, I mean, what's left? And of course, I have a beautiful wife who makes me take. It's 6 months. I have to say it still. You can stop saying it.
I
Yeah.
was going to bring it up that he is my cousin and I've known him as a child. But that's what, in spite of having it all, I think the fact that he was always so grounded about everything and he could have gone havoc, there were a lot of instances where people can do that. But I think
Yeah, I did have my chances. I did.
Well, I think his influence of his parents, and I would love for you to talk even Sanal about, some, you know, quotes or a statement that has been stuck by you, that you live by, that helps you, in today's life.
So there are quite a few actually that I strictly and strongly follow. One is that I said my sixth standard teacher told me, do that to others. If that is done to you, you should be okay with it. Only do that to others. Then actually my dad, he loves these quotes and phrases. So just when I started residency, he gave me a list of 10 quotes. It's the first time ever he's written anything in handwriting, which is hardly legible, but only I managed to read it. And there he said, his thing is work is worship. So so he said you have to be true to your work, and it's not about money. It's not about where you will be. Everything else will fall into place automatically. So that was one of his that I follow, and there's one personally which is my favorite. There's no second. You either win or you lose. So either it's first or nothing. So you have to strive to be first. Second doesn't count for anything.
Wow. Okay. This is the first time I'm hearing this serious side and this
I
views.
know. I said I'm in an interview mode. I'm all geared up. Don't worry. After this, I'll be all laughing.
No, but Sana, how do you even keep the laughter element in your life? How does that happen? How do you do that?
Also, it's because as slapstick as it sounds, but I do have a thing for these funny movies, whether it's Govinda or whether it's just basic Bollywood, hardcore Bollywood, which some people might be ashamed to like own up to, but I am not. And my wife hates those, but I love them. Me and my dad crack up. I have watched those movies 10 times. So I make sure I have that element in me.
Can you
Otherwise,
explain it? Can you? I know how good you are, but let's give a flavor of Sanal's humor out there. Could you impersonate? I know who you are really good at.
no, I'm not doing that.
No?
I was a child then, you fooled me into it. I can't do it anymore. I have a little more brain than I had then.
So one thing that I would like to share is I respect the fact that it's a little uncomfortable for him because first of all, getting him on this video was a amazing,
Death.
amazing moment for me. I know how uncomfortable he is, but he is an amazing, I think when it comes to Paresh Rawal, there's no beating Sanil Parekh. And the Hera Fairy Paresh Rawal, I think we've had amazing memories thanks to you. And I think anytime we watch that movie, Hera Fairy and our place as well, we have to remember him. I mean, that's how
The
amazing.
last time I did it was in my building Ganpati competition. I won a prize, and that was the last time ever I did it.
Never say last time. I just told you, never say never.
Yeah.
But Sanil, so let's say today, with this whole new world, the new things that have come up, and people are going through, a lot of emotional, physical, financial overwhelm. If you as a person could tell somebody, something that would uplift them, what would your advice or, practice that you do in your life that you could give out
I think one would be to just hang in. When you hear about so much happening, just hang in, because I genuinely believe, as cliche as it sounds, that everything does happen for a reason. And in the end, you can personally go into your own life back and look back at things and say, after all, it did happen for the good. At that moment in time, it does feel that it's wrong, it's not good, but eventually, I think you all end up in a better place, irrespective. And it's So theory of relativity, I think everything is relative. Your state of mind, your happiness, how sad you feel, everything is relative. So it's just how you want to feel yourself. It's up to you. So that's what I typically follow. And also there's a lot of mental preparation. I think you shouldn't overthink, but you shouldn't underthink. So when I'm going into something, I'm mentally prepared that there'll be A, B, and C situations. So A falls through, there is B, I'm ready for it. B falls through, C. Then if that also falls through, yeah, then I'm falling through. But generally I manage with A, B, and C. So I think that much is essential to just be prepared so it doesn't catch you off guard. And that's where it all begins from. So suppose I'm giving an exam, I've already thought that if I fail, these are the next steps. The idea is to not cry over spilt milk, but to look ahead always. So what's happened irrespective. What next? So even if it does happen, I'm ready for it.
Wow.
And then when it's the lockdown, for example, it's taken a toll on a lot of people, as we can see. But I think there's a positive in that too. As long as you can manage yourself to stay from COVID, there's a lot more positives to it. So, I mean, that's been discussed enough. But besides the financial aspect, there are only positives to this situation. The family time, the lone time, introspection time, just relaxing. I'm just happy with that. I just lie down and do nothing. I never got that time.
But don't you think relaxation or recreation is so underrated? And that's one aspect of your life that, I think I can always think about, even as a child. I remember you always played a sport. You were always engaged in those outdoor activities. And when you combine both relaxation and recreation, I think, and spending quality time with your newly, married wife, I think there's nothing as it
In
can.
the last line, I have to say respective. Okay, so thanks, you said it for me. Doesn't matter. First two lines. So when I went to Netherlands and when I went to Australia, that's the one thing that I've seen in their culture. They will probably shut their shop at 5 o'clock, but all of them are either cycling, working out, fitter, and it's automatically a good hormones, right? If I may deviate towards the medical aspect of it, the more exercise, more recreation creates good hormones. And I think everything else is governed by hormones in our body.
Right.
So you can manage to push.
Since you're talking so much about hormones, what made you get into this field of, medicine or health? What about it, gives you that boost, that kick?
So since I was in 4th standard, I had decided that I'll become a doctor.
Wow.
Now, whether it's my dad's training, very smartly done if he did, or whether it's me, actually, I do not know. But since 4th standard, I know I wanted, because I have seen my father do it. And I don't think, it's one of the most rewarding things that I find. Because it's not just the materialistic world. You do get a lot of gratitude in return. I disagree with the fact that people are saying they don't like doctors, they're disrespecting doctors. I think I've gotten enough at this young age also. And I'm way too young still. But I think that really, to help people get gratitude out of it and live a decent life after it. You're not just... So whatever you do is only going to benefit people. So also it's very challenging. Not that other professions aren't, but I wasn't made for other professions. I would fail every other thing that I did. Whether it's current, electricity, accounts, nothing. I'll fail it. So this was only...
So you don't need to be good at studies to become a good doctor. You just need to...
No, you don't have to be good. No, doctors, you don't have to be good at studies at all.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. It's just a myth.
That is a tagline.
Yeah, you just wait for 30 years till you become a doctor. Automatically you will.
Yeah.
There is nothing complicated.
So since, you are this good doctor who receives so much gratitude, what would be your health tips? Simple health tips that you follow in your life to stay, healthy, whether it's physical, emotional health, spiritual health, social health,
So
whatever.
see, emotional health, I think you're the master for that. Sleep. So I won't even dare talk on it.
No, I would love to know about you.
I'm not. See, when you know someone is at a better position than you should stay in your ground and not. But with respect to health for sure. I think not just because I'm a gastroenterologist, the effect that diet has on you, I don't think anything else
Right.
has. The kind of food and the timing of food that you can, if you can keep that, the whole mental state changes, and then it's all a domino effect after that. Everything else becomes different. So I think diet is very, very important. Of course, exercise and all anybody says, but this is one thing I know it's picking up, but the right food is very important.
So
And I've
what
seen it myself. Today,
what's
if
the
I
right
have some,
food?
no, today if I have some junk food, for example, I know I won't study at night. I know I'll be drowsy. I won't be chirpy, and I'll still feel queasy and weird, and probably sleep uncomfortable. So I think right food is obviously the right balance, and I think there's enough knowledge all about there, the right oil and right ghee. But I don't focus on that. Of course, you should cheat, have fat, everything, but moderation is the key. I think that's the word that I really follow.
I
Moderation.
thought you would
So
say
I have four.
laughter. I think laughter is the best diet that I think if I
But then who makes you laugh these days? It's not easy. You have to find your laughter. Then it's not easy, na. So
I
you keep
love
watching
that.
Fehra Feri again and again. That's why I watch it 10 times, partner 10 times, welcome 10 times.
I think I love this statement that find your laughter. It's I think one of the
Yeah,
most
of course.
amazing thing and do whatever you can. So I think watch Hera Fairy 200 times if that's what makes you laugh.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, and I'm not ashamed.
No, why should you be? I think
No, a lot of people find it very, very silly. They think it does not have any brains, but that's the whole point, right? If you use your brains, why will you laugh?
Paresh Rawal is going to be very happy knowing that he has such a good fan in him. So,
Yeah.
is there anything else that you would like, to leave us with a thought or anything that you would want us to know about?
No, I think my thought is something that I have been following you very uh, frequently of late. I've been reading your updates, and it's something I think you've touched upon the most important thing. Sleep is important, and it has been terribly neglected. And there are things which we subconsciously don't realize, even as doctors. We don't realize because we don't study sleep. We're busy studying the bigger things, the fancier things. So you don't end up touching on that thing. So as cliched again as it sounds, but it's diet and sleep and your lifestyle. 45 minutes of just doing anything. It doesn't have to be a strict workout which makes you drained and terribly you hate it. It should just be something you love. Play cricket, play anything, run around with a dog for all you care.
Wow.
Just your heart should be pumping more than usual.
Yeah, and I think watching happiness and laughter creates a lot of that as well. And I'm so glad, and that's why I call you. This big doctor talking to somebody and talking about something very subtle. Is so important that today focus is so much on bigger things that we forget those minute happiness that we can create,
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
right?
The
And what
basic things.
therapy can be one of it.
I
Impersonating.
think that guy has to give me some commission or cut right now. I'm marketing him way too much with the number of people watching your show.
So I think it's so beautiful that coming from you that focus on small things and the bigger picture is taken care of and prepare yourself for everything and I think do a work I think like you're doing it for the right reasons of receiving gratitude, doing it from that attitude I think creates a huge mindset change. And I know how difficult it is for you, but see how comfortable you've gotten by the end of it.
Now I'm all set. I'm ready. Let me know the next time when you want
So,
to do this.
so you directly never do anything. Before we leave, Sanil, if today, I would want you to talk something about, how you take care of your own emotional health. When
My
you
emotional, sorry.
when you feel down, you feel drained. You've had this long day of
Yeah.
hard work. Not such a great day. When it comes to your work, how do you handle it?
So I think this is before I was married. I'm being very politically right. Okay. So, so you have to have a second thing to fall back on, which is as important to you as what you're doing in life. Work is not everything. It is something. If you love what you're doing, amazing, brilliant. You'll never be unhappy. But everybody doesn't. You have to have a second thing to fall back on. If I have had a bad day, I'd probably just go and watch a football match or sit 4 hours on my PlayStation, do nothing. I'm allowed one day of doing nothing. There's enough time to cover up things and just deviate and disengage myself. So I think how I function when I study is I have headphones in my ears and I read my book. So there are only two places my mind will go to, either music or studies. There's no third, because every mind does go to a second place. Very few people can be focused. I'm being very honest. To look into something non-stop is hard. So I think you have to have this tactic of cheating yourself. Keep your mind in two things so there is no place for third.
Wow.
That's one very basic thing I follow.
It's
a cheat.
Exactly. I was just gonna say it's this beautiful hack, that you've given us. So I think I'm also gonna try this one for sure.
No, but as easy as it sounds, like anyone will tell you, go get busy with something. But if you love, like I am really, really passionate about football. I read the news 10 times a day to just know what's happening. And it's my passion. People are fed up. My wife has got a shock of her life. She didn't know this was coming. My parents were fed up. But now I made sure she starts watching it. She's at least knows which my favorite team is now. So that's a good start. So I think you have to have an additional passion to keep yourself into something else. There will be bad days, but there will be good ones again.
Keep yourself engaged with different things rather than just doing that one thing. Because I think life is not that. It's multiple things as we have a lot of...
No, because it's natural for us to think and think, but overthinking leads nowhere, because what's happened is happened. What's going to happen is not happened. 99% of our fears are past or future. So let's just stay in the present and take it as it comes. Sometimes it's best to leave it to default.
See, right now you're totally in the present, enjoying this interview.
Thanks to you. Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Sanil, for doing this and being part of this sunshine life. Because, when it's being nice, I can never forget you. And that's why I told you were in that list long back. Thanks you so much for doing this, and thank you to your wife for helping you with this Zoom call and the perfect lighting. Thank you so much for doing this.
This is the first and last time I'm using Zoom. I'm going to delete this after you finish this video.